The biggest pain we experience is that when other people do something that hurts us, very quickly our ego defense mechanism orients out, like very quickly, boom, like how do I stay safe? How do I stay safe? But as we evolve into a safer way of living, out of survival and into thriving, we have the chance to pause and to realize, wait, I'm actually safe. My name is Deb Blum, and this is the Whole Soul Way. It's my signature program that I've been teaching for the past 4 years, and I decided to offer the foundation lessons, exercises, and tools for free on YouTube and all of the major podcast channels. Because I truly believe that the world needs more of us, healed, whole, authentic, and awake. And you know what? I don't want to be a barrier to anyone getting the help that they need. And in fact, I really want to be part of the change. Each lesson builds on the last. So if this is your first time here, make sure that you start at the beginning. This is your invitation. Show up, do the work, and join the movement of souls who are committed to creating a better world, one inner transformation at a time. Let's dive in. Deb here, talking a little bit about our inner child today. When we come in to reparent our inner child, what I notice happens a lot of times with my clients and with me is that we often come in with positivity and a cheerleading, supportive way of being. And there is a place for that for sure. There's no question. And there's no question that there's value in us seeing the good things about ourselves and saying that we admire that and love that about ourselves, because so few of us really give ourselves the space to acknowledge, I am really a good person. I'm a kind, good person. I'm beautiful and I'm lovable. That is really important. And that is one piece of the process. Okay, another thing, which is often we're focused around self-care, where we're like, I'm going to do things that I know will be loving toward myself, like I'm going to make sure that I exercise, or I'm going to put beautiful clothes on, or I'm going to maybe put makeup on, or do a good skincare routine, or take a bath tonight. And those, again, beautiful, amazing things. But some of the most important things we can do are actually a little more subtle, okay? I'm going to give you a real life example. So let's just say that your child comes home from school and he or she is upset about something. And they say, John called me stupid today. Now, we could easily say, you're not stupid, you're one of the smartest kids I know. That's a pretty common thing that we might say to our kids. I certainly know I had plenty of times when that's what I was saying, and it took me a long time to start really meeting my kids where they were emotionally. And even to this day, I don't always get it right, because it's not something that I learned as a child, nor did I ever treat myself that way, and I just didn't know. And I was a feeling avoider, so it's been a long journey for me. But now what I know is probably in some ways that's dismissive of my kids' experience. And what would be maybe a little more useful would be to just say, tell me more. Like, what happened? And then to have them say, well, I did this and he did this, and go through that whole thing and listen and say, well, yeah, so what do you think of that? And then to have them be able to share more. Who knows? Maybe they would cry. Maybe you're going to find out that there's so much other stuff happening there. Maybe you're going to find out that the feeling isn't the stupid feeling. That's someone else's judgment. Maybe what you find out is that they have been really feeling stupid lately because they're falling behind in their schoolwork. Or maybe what they said actually was a little bit of a dumb comment, and maybe they regret saying it. And when we just blow it off because we're uncomfortable with our kids being called stupid, or when we go to the place of just being like, oh, John, he's so mean. Why did he do that? Either one of those takes us away from the opportunity to really understand what's going on with our kids and to really connect to them and to provide them with the space to really grapple with these things. And really our job is more than to fix or to be the cheerleader, is actually to bear witness. Because that's the thing that makes it easier to go through hard things in life. See, it's not that we, all of us, couldn't handle what happened in our childhood. It's that we couldn't handle it alone. If we had had someone who was by our side and was bearing witness and that we knew we weren't alone, it probably wouldn't have hurt us as much. We would have been able to make more sense of it. We wouldn't have had to make up our own story and make meaning of it that ended up to our detriment, because we would have had someone there helping us to see where we may have misunderstood, or to know that we're not alone, or to feel the love and the connection. And that is what we as parents have in our capacity to do for our children. But we also have that in our capacity to do it for ourselves. And so what does that mean? Well, say that you have a story that you are afraid you're stupid, and that when you grew up, you felt like there was a lot of pressure to be smart, and that you feel like you're always watching out for ways that you do stupid things, and then you beat yourself up over it. So you want to shift that. So you may start off with shifting by saying, you are a smart person. You're smart, and I love you, and I see you, and I see that you're really smart. And maybe when something happens and you feel stupid, you go to the place of, you are not stupid, you're a smart person, and I love you, and I'm always with you. And that is beautiful. And there's another level deeper that you can go to, which is to really come into the place of, tell me what it's like for you to feel that way. I know right now we both feel really yucky, and it's this thing that I've always said is, I feel stupid. And that's, I think, what you feel, but what's really going on underneath it? And that's where you get into the places of, maybe you find out that it's embarrassment, or it's shame, or maybe you find out that it's loneliness and the fear of being excluded, or maybe it's something else. And maybe there's an opportunity for you to bear witness to yourself and to slow down time a little bit, to actually experience with yourself the feelings that you felt back then, to realize that it doesn't have to sweep you away. It can really be just a moment of connection where you say, hey, I'm not going to try to make it better. I'm just going to bear witness, and I just want to go through the process with you. I just want to feel, what was it like when that happened when you were little? What was it like for you? How did it feel? What did you wish you had? What do you want from me right now? What can I do? And also for you to guess. Maybe you actually need to give yourself a little hug. Or maybe it's just listening. Or maybe it's journaling and you bearing witness through journal pages. Because bearing witness is what most of us didn't get. So bearing witness to yourself means that it's not jumping in with a solution. It's not coming in and being the person who tells you how great you are. It's part of it, but that's not it. It can't end there, because ultimately what we're craving is to be met and to be seen and to be understood and to feel that we are worthy of being tended to and held, because in some way when we were little, the biggest pain we suffered was the sense that our experience was not worth being heard, that our experience wasn't valued, and that in some way that we felt we were dismissed. And so now we get a chance to not dismiss ourselves. So cheering ourselves on is beautiful. Taking good care of ourselves is amazing. And bearing witness is truly a blessing for yourself. So it's a harder thing to do because it requires us to do something that was never given to us. Do you see the disconnect? Because you've got inner child and then you've got you as an adult. And neither one of these, the inner child nor the adult, ever got this from anyone. So your adult you has to learn a new skill that you never learned as a child. And so it requires us to go in and say, well, what do I really want and need? When I'm sad or when I'm struggling, what do I most need? And that might even be something you want to work on, is making a list of what do you need. Are you the kind of person who needs a hug? Like you're going to want to give yourself actual hugs? Are you the person who needs a little space? You don't like someone coming right at you, and so you're going to want to give your inner child a little bit of space to come to you. Are you the kind of person who does like to cry in front of people or maybe not. It's okay. There's no right or wrong, but bearing witness to your experience and allowing you to go through what you go through and then trying to guess what's going to be most helpful for you without rushing the process and without having to fix or problem solve or cheerlead too quickly, it's going to interfere if we do that. So we allow that space to really bear witness. And eventually, it doesn't mean that you don't come in and say, can I give you a little bit of information about what happened? I know that it feels like that person was judging you for being stupid and it hurt and that caused you to feel shame and you feel bad about yourself because of it. But I just want to also tell you that that actually only happened because the other person was struggling. That doesn't take away our pain. But sometimes we hold a story for our whole lives that we're stupid or something when actually it really was never ever true. So at some point we have to be willing to consider the possibility that this story isn't even true and let it go. And I want to give you the final piece, which is there's this other spiritual perspective that I think is very helpful, but I don't want you to use it to bypass, which is that the truth of the matter is that we are all everything. So there's no person out there that hasn't been smart at times and stupid at times. We all say dumb things sometimes. We've all been respectful to people, and then we've also been disrespectful to people, and we've been disrespected, and we've been respected. It's like all of those possibilities are there, and every gray in between. And so there's some part of this too, which is acknowledging the truth that I love you. Like for me to love myself, if being stupid is something I'm afraid of, to say, honey, I would love you even if you were always stupid. Even if you genuinely were an actual dumb person, I would love you still. I will love you when everyone else abandons you. If that ever happened, I won't abandon you. Because see, the biggest pain we experience is that when other people do something that hurts us, very quickly our ego defense mechanism orients out, like very quickly, boom, like how do I stay safe? How do I stay safe? But as we evolve into a safer way of living, out of survival and into thriving, we have the chance to pause and to realize, wait, I'm actually safe. I'm going to turn inward. And when we turn inward, we get to come in and we get to face those fears and to be present with ourselves and to not have to defend all the time. And we can come into the place of acknowledging we just don't have to look externally all the time for that validation. We can shift from am I safe to sourcing internal safety, which the internal safety that we really need and crave is actually the connection of all of ourselves, all of our parts, the integration. It's the connection of us to that inner child, which the inner child is representation of all these many, many parts of ourselves. So it's the self-abandonment that's painful. It's that what happens is as soon as something happens that we're scared or we're hurt or we're afraid, we shift our orientation to out there, which means we abandon her. We abandon the child. So if we can turn around, look inside and say, honey, I'm not going to leave you. I know that that was painful. I know that we're hurting. I know we're scared. And I know that our natural inclination is to have somebody save us. Mommy, daddy. Then we remember, I'm the mommy. I'm the mommy right now. And I'm going to be here. And I'm going to parent you. And I'm with you. That's a hard thing to remember, but we have to get that as our first line of defense. So as soon as we feel the defending, the space where we want to go out there, we shift our orientation back internally. All right. So with all of that said, I highly recommend in times when you're triggered that you use the meditations and the Trigger Trail Buddy, because they will guide you back into connection with yourself. When you go in there and you look at what your feelings are, what your needs are, and you give them back to yourself, it is truly reparenting. I think it's really important, super important lesson. And I want to hear what you have to say about it. So post something in the comments and let me know.